What's up, boys? We're back with some more of the Backpack Survivors demo, and now they've added the talent tree into the game. There's a couple interesting things I've seen so far. You can get a bunch of health, scale up your damage a bit with it. You can specialize heavily into certain elemental types and get a bunch of projectiles for those, stuff like that. It seems like eventually you're going to be able to specialize in companions. I haven't seen anything for that yet, so I'm not sure if they're in the game yet. For me, I don't have that many points, so I really just have a bit of generic stats, and then I'm just short of being able to get a second keystone with my current points. But it doesn't seem too necessary for the game so far, unless I can go higher here. Oh, I actually can, 150%. That sounds kind of insane. I guess I'll try it. Not sure if that'll be doable though. So we start off with a 6-piece. The Stone Greatsword, I believe, can combine with the elemental types, so we could maybe add the poison thing to something. Well, actually, it would show an arrow when I hover over that. But I think I remember seeing fire for that. We actually don't have room for that unless I can do anything with that. No. That's a thing you put into the bag. This is what I started with last time, but I have that as well. Oh, I actually unlocked this during the run, and you start with those, it looks like. Okay. So you put that on a blunt, slashing, or piercing weapon for extra damage. Health pickup radius. And get an extra bag there. We can combine, like, duct tape with a sword, I think. That goes for melee weapons and is pretty good. 2 base damage is actually decent for that. See if we can find some bags or something, probably. More poison, fire. Could have done something with that. What did the boots do? Give slashing damage based on armor. And blunt damage based on blunt damage? No, based on armor as well, okay. You lose speeds. Might be kind of interesting to try an armor melee build on this run. Doesn't look like we have any combos with those right now, but you can see at the top it says ingredients. Can we hit that with a key if I put that thing in? So that'll be a bunch of damage and cooldown reduction there. And now we have one extremely buffed up wooden practice sword, and we can save that for later. So, all of your power in this game comes from the shop and your items. There's no leveling in the middle of a run. You can spend the talent points after, based on how well you do in each one. You get a merchant every once in a while, based on the enemies you're killing, I believe. But we don't actually have enough gold to do anything unless I can get a decent hit on the bats. There's no auto, or rather manual aiming as far as I'm aware. Oh, targeting. Okay. Let's do that then. That'll make it way easier to kill stuff. Okay. I was playing on hard mode in my first run, apparently. So we have a fire staff there. The ointment is used in a few things, I believe. I haven't seen that before. It's limiting on the void tags, but it has some pretty strong stats actually. Crit chance and projectile counts. Does take up a lot of room, but I think we're gonna try the armor plus melee. We can get a bag there, sword there in case we find the duct tape to tape them together. We have another bag there. I'd have to remove one to put those in, and they don't do a ton currently, so we'll just grab the bag for now. And then, can I have that on the other sword at least? You'll get a bunch of shops for each stage, so we'll have plenty of time to get some more of those before the boss of this one. I can't really see my cursor right now, though. Don't see anything for that. Yeah, it's just the arrow on my character, but no specific cursor targeting that I can see. But it is a pretty early demo still, I think. There's supposed to be a mage and a necromancer class eventually, but they're currently still locked in the demo, so we're just on the warrior class currently. Grab all of the bags we get. Lose a lot of armor and cooldown reduction, gain blunt damage. And then the ones it buffs up gain a ton of damage, a little bit of area. Probably not for the armor builds. Those aren't used in anything. Those aren't either. 25 to 47 is a lot of damage. Oh, that's ranged. Does that work? Blunt and slashing, it should work with that. That's 3 by 1. So we could really just fit that in anywhere. Does that combine with anything? Yes, it's an ingredient. It goes with the helmet, but energy damage won't really fit here. We could take that for the armor and to see if anything else combines with it though. That's ranged, although piercing, does that work? No, slashing and blunt. That is a ranged slashing weapon and it combines with the duct tape, but we could also do a dual sword thing. So that's 2 by 2. The armor on it's also kind of nice, and I think the combination actually removes that, but I might do that anyways just to see how it works here. Can I make this easier somehow? You can freely move the bags around, so it shouldn't really be too bad. So like that should make the double-bladed swords. And we can still fit in one of those. And then I believe it combines them as you get to the next shop. I don't think we need anything else here for now. You really just need the bag space. We can get a sharpening stone at half price, that's fine. We can lock that bag for 10. Another blunt mace, we don't really need to do that. So we are kind of weak while that's combining. A bunch of stuff down there. Ultra Furious attacks. So yeah, we probably just want to rush the shop here so that we can get the two swords taped together and then get some of our buffing items back in. Now we have a wooden double-bladed sword. Looks like it loses the armor and all of the utility sets the duct tape had. Just a lot of damage. Decent cooldown. Nunchaku. 100% stun chance, huh. Ointment goes with the helmet or the dagger. I'm kind of curious what that would do with the helmet then. Tiny satchel. What is the background on that? Like the gray thing? Not sure what that means. What is that? Slashing damage? That could work as well. We have so much stuff already. Probably just look for the bag space though. Another 2-piece. Pick up radius, extra coin chance. If you have a lot of coins on you, you get a bunch of damage. That's actually quite good for one slot though. Might lock that and try it out at one point. Let's see, that's a 5 by 1. How do we fit everything in here? I guess that's mostly fine, actually. We can just have a ton of stuff buffing up the swords. Actually, can I fit the boots in? Actually, that's not too bad. We can... Well, having a second weapon's probably better. We can do that pretty easily and then have that on both of them. Oh, I need to combine the helmet though. So we need 5 slots for that. So we actually have to undo basically all of that. Oh, I have that other bag. So we'll get a Horned Viking helmet off of that, and then we can still buff that up a bit. There's a bunch of different elements, and you can kind of focus on them by buying a bunch of the basic material and then just trying to combine that with a bunch of different stuff. My first run, I went for fire, and I just had a bunch of the 5% fire damage things in my backpack the entire time, and I was just constantly checking the shop for stuff that I could combine with them, and that turned out really well. Six spiked. Damage returned when your character is attacked. Affects all blunt and slashing based weapons, 25% crit multi and damage. Okay, that's actually pretty good with the boots then. We still don't have a ton of armor to buff that up, and that doesn't even give me any either. That'd be pretty good if we held the coins. Ironclad Sabatons, another pair of those. Cheap Ointment of War. That'll probably go nicely with some of the physical stuff. I guess we'll grab that and then try to start hoarding the 300 for the damage boost, since that'll be pretty nice. It might actually be better to have the mace in there over that for now, though. Have that buffed up by that at least. And then we can just have that in the inventory for now. I guess we'll get that out of there just to clear up the slots. But we kind of need to try and get the bonus for that now since it's pretty solid. Yeah, my first run I just couldn't even kill the bats because I couldn't target them. But manual aiming makes it way easier. Gets me a lot more gold, I think. So we'll probably try and keep that active and not spend too much. That is pretty terrible for 4 spaces. Yeah, I just had a bunch of those and I was constantly combining them with stuff. We have a bag there. That's pretty easy to fit in and seems like decent damage and cooldown. The reroll cost doubles each time, so a couple of them are basically free and then it becomes very expensive. Energy and slashing. I don't remember seeing any dual weapon types before, that's interesting. Also works with the builds, since it's slashing. Let's see, we could grab that. I just don't really have a lot of space right now. We could probably fit that in instead of the club somewhere. Two by two. And then I guess the club, well, we need the ring actually, that's pretty good. So we can do the hatchet. And we have 3 on that, and the ring's still active. Still need lots of space, but I think that's fine for now, and we keep the pretty big damage boost active. At some point we will likely need to specialize into either melee or range though, because there's a lot of very powerful passive items later on that are generally for like specific weapon types or elemental damage types. There's a really insane one that I got on my first run. It takes up only 1 space, but it gave like +3 projectiles to either fire or energy weapons. I got a couple of those and I just became absolutely insane. What is that sword just constantly spinning me? What the heck? That thing? Oh. Those have a lot of projectiles, wow. Okay, I kind of want to scale that thing up. That seems kind of crazy. Then here's the boss. Somewhere. So he has 2 attacks. As far as I can tell, you can't really avoid this rolling attack. If he's close to you, you can't like run past him and then melee him a bunch. You have to kind of wait for this phase to get a bunch of attacks off, and then just get ready and kite it out as he's about to go into the second phase. And then you get a cool relic in between each of the stages. I think there were 3 or 4 stages, and these are probably the biggest like build randomization thing. Dashing, reset the cooldown of a random weapon. Holy damage is increased by 50%. Attack 25 times, cause a whirlwind, dealing slashing. I'm kind of leaning towards that. Whatever, we'll try the rare. And then I'll need to remember to dash a bit more. And we might want to look for a pair of boots that gives us an extra dash charge to go with that. Just to get a bunch of free resets out now. Oh, you know, one thing that would be really cool is if you had only 1 weapon that was extremely slow, and you just constantly reset it with that. That would be pretty interesting. -1 projectile count, but +6 base damage. Only works on blunt melee. Nah. These 5 common tags gives luck, which is higher rarity items, I think. Oh, also finding altars and usable drops from enemies. I'm not sure what the usable drops from enemies is. Massive shuriken. If you combine that with the ointment, it makes like a bouncing thing, I think. It is slashing damage. That might not be bad, actually. Yeah, it seems like all of that would work. Oh, I guess percent slashing damage wouldn't fully apply to that, then. Or would it? It might. I'm not positive. I think we can try that. And neither of those. More space. I think it was just one of those. Yeah, that makes an ancient tri-blades. I'm kind of curious what the duct tape does with that. I guess we would probably need 2 of those for that. Oh no, it's just the one it looks like. What does it do with the axe? Wait, you can tape two of the big swords together? Well, now I'm curious what that does. Oh yeah, we need to keep the 300 for the rings. Don't have anything for that yet. I'll grab another of those just in case. But now we need a wooden sword. Energy damage, health, nope. Takes up a ton of space too. One penetrating, that would be very good on the dagger, right? Oh, it has 5 already? Maybe not. Looks like those can't combine with anything since they're not an ingredient. Holy damage, all damage is converted to holy. Nah. That's a big chest. Seems like it's always just 10 gold per slot, so the rarity doesn't really matter. You just get a lot of them at once. Armor and spikes. Not an ingredient. We're not really going for the spike stuff, I think. We'll do probably one more reroll and then try to reset that. So that is very heavily lightning range based. We got another tape. If I want to do a shuriken with that at some point. Or a tomahawk? Is that just 2 tomahawks and a tape? Yeah. And then we'll have one more to make the quad sword at some point, since that sounds funny. There's nothing we really have to have. I guess we probably want to do that with one of the ointments, though. Can't hit the swords, but if we could buff up that thing, that would actually be pretty good now that I think about it. Then we'll just toss that. Oh, I guess I have a couple more bags. Could put some of those in. Actually, that's probably better. And that looks like everything for now. You can eventually see most of the rare item combinations in the shop. I've never seen the double wooden sword in there before though. So we got a double hawk, an ancient tri-blades, all blunt based weapons. That doesn't really work now. We are heavily into this slashing stuff. We already have 2 of those, that's probably good enough. We can use those. It's not amazing, but it's only 1 slot, so maybe. Oh, there's the swords. So we will actually need another tape and 2 different shops to do that, I guess, now that I think about it. Energy and range, that doesn't really help. Lightning, diamond edge shiv. So that must be the dagger combined with an ointment, I guess? even more bags. There's the duct tape we'll need for the next step. And we'll need a ton of room for all of that. That was the combination for that, I think. We could probably fit another of those in if I feel like it. We could also just grab another weapon somewhere. Wait, we need 3 for the double hawk. Keep the 300 for the rings, and then we'll set that up to have the quad-bladed sword on the next one. We still need to be on the lookout for good armor pieces, since I do still want to try that. Then we need a lot of space for that. Let's see if I can find some bags first, I suppose. 3 energy tags would give you a lot of luck and coin chance. That's actually pretty cool, but not for this run. Let me make sure I have that right. So yeah, 2 of the swords. See if we can find some bags now. Dashes and then speed if you have dodge chance. That actually is pretty nice. I don't know if we're going to be able to fit all of that stuff in though. What is that? Is there like a metal sword that you combine into that? Or no, I guess that's just a basic weapon. It just sounds kind of like that. Fire staff. I don't think positioning is super important, mainly just the key in that thing. That if we wanted it. Yeah, we can put that on the dual daggers. Seems fine for now, and then we'll see whatever that monstrosity gives us. Wooden four-bladed sword, epic. That is a lot of pretty awkward space to fit that in. Dodge and +2 dashes with energy tags. Oh yeah, I had a bunch of dynamite in my ranged fire run and that was pretty fun, but doesn't really fit here. A blue fire wand. Energy tags, no. Would I ever make a second one of those? It could fit. It would be pretty hard to do. I kind of want to get some decent armor now to actually go with the boot thing, though. But we're not really finding a lot yet. I guess those give a bit. We do only have 2, so I guess that's okay. I don't think any combined items can ever combine again, as far as I can tell. Armor health regen, oh that's nice. Warped reality, void damage. I don't think I've seen that before. But definitely doesn't really work here. Another bag. Yeah, that's a pretty awkward weapon. And we'll want to buff that on top of it. We don't have that many items that buff currently. That one can only ever do one, I think. Yeah, we probably won't really be able to fill up a ton currently, so I guess we can toss some more of those in. I don't really need to put that in. There's definitely a way, but I don't really feel like it right now. We could definitely use more attack speed on the 4x sword. Oh, I could be dashing a bit more for the relic as well. Weapon range? I guess it's kind of nice. The other stats aren't great, though. Range 5.0. It just takes up so much room when it really only gives the weapon range. Another wooden practice sword? Nah. I mean, I guess it's half off. Then that fills out our current backpack limit. You can get some more with the meta progression. Lose armor, nope. Airlord's bracelets, crit multi, affects piercing ranged. Which we don't have any of on this run. Very nice stats if it did work though. Holy Scepter. We need some actual decent armor items though. Affects energy-based range weapons, nope. Fire-based melee, nope. Two armor for 4 slots is not great. We can combine that and see what it gives, I suppose. Oh, that could go with the shields. I think I remember the wooden shield being like a 6-slot item that gave a ton of armor but lowered your speed. Honestly, that might work here. We'll probably want to grab some more ointments. And then I'll want to combine that here as well. Steel bonded plate armor sounds good. Is there an easy way to fit in another? Yes. So we should be able to get some decent armor with those combinations finally, but I'm probably going to end up being very slow movement speed wise. But that might actually be kind of interesting for the tanky melee build. Can I like just run in the middle and AoE them down? And then grab some potions afterwards? So last shot for the boss of this stage. See what armor we got. Oh, did we need another one for that? Oops, I missed that. Another of those. Oh yeah, what does that do? Big health, decent armor, and damage. So slashing damage is added to blunt damage, it looks like? What is that icon? Oh, it's a very small sword. Oh, blunt tags add slashing damage, okay. So that's pretty good then. From just that, I guess? Oh, the armor itself has blunt as well. Okay, that's pretty good. We might want more of those if I can then. Energy, don't really care. More ointments for combinations. I think that had a lot of armor, so I'm going to go ahead and go for some more of them. chance base damage. Only lightning melee though. Another chest plates. Yeah, I think those are pretty good. 200% fire damage. That is crazy. But I don't think we're going to use that. Like, minus 50% slashing would be so bad for everything I have right now. Half off on the horns. I don't think so. Now, how do we fit everything in here? I guess we'll have to drop at least that. I guess we can move that somewhere to make it easier to fit stuff in. Well, I don't know that that's good. And we do know the armor is, so we definitely want that. And then I think that's probably fine for now, while we combine stuff. I wonder, can you actually just like keep farming stuff for tons of money while the boss is out there? Assuming you're tanky enough. Seems like they're slowing down. That actually fits with the other one. Health potion, chance of cause an explosion dealing piercing. That's not super useful. It would be better if it was slashing or blunt for me. So I guess the dash it is. And since we're pretty tanky, that should actually make me basically invincible now. Plus we get damage on top of that. Health, minus 20% speed, 10 armor. Okay. We do lose weapon capacity. And it's more blunt focused, which is unfortunate that we didn't really find anything cool for that. Enemies are afflicted by bleed. Damage per tick is 15%. That seems pretty good. I guess we probably don't really need it. To a maximum of 100%. I think we will buy that. Armor, weapon range, affects energy-based range weapons. Nah. Speed, cold, and energy. Enemies hit are afflicted by poison. All damage is converted to poison. Damage per tick is 5%. Stacks infinitely if reapplied. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't think we're going to use that though. We're getting a bunch of slashing off of that, and that. Probably not. Hero Sword, Lightning Melee. Gives crit chance and multi to stuff on either side of it. Probably not. I think we have enough armor-based stuff though. 2 armor, 10% blunt. No, that takes up a lot of slots. Another of those if I want it. It actually is a lot of damage since each one adds the blunt tag. Let's see, that's 200 top end. Adding one of those in brings it up to 236. That's almost 20% more for one of them. Plus a ton of survivability. That's actually pretty good. What if we remove that? That's not bad. Those aren't that great. $268. They're only at 45% each too. That's at 28 from the armor. The armor gives us 35% reduction. If I can fit that somewhere else. I don't think we can while still touching it. I guess it's not super important. That won't work on the axe. Doesn't really matter. Could get another of those at some point and give up one of the ranged weapons, I suppose. I don't really need that thing anymore. Speed, projectile speed, cooldown reduction. I don't think so. It's mostly in the speed and projectile speed, which don't really do that much for me. Energy-based ranged weapons. That's insanely good, but does nothing for us. Fire and energy-based weapons. That's also insanely good, but doesn't work for us. Start item, blunt, energy, slashing, piercing. That could work, but I don't think it's that great. piercing based ranged weapons. Nope. Blunt based weapons. Nope. Damage, speed, lightning. Wait, that's crazy. Lightning damage for lightning tags? That's so easy to scale up for them. For lightning builds, of course. I feel like the music on this stage is way higher than the other ones. I used those on my earlier ranged fire run as well. Hitting an enemy causes an explosion for fire damage. They were pretty crazy with extra projectile count and cooldown reduction, but does nothing here. Doesn't seem like there's anything super high rarity for this build. Blunt based and crit multi. Might have been easier to do blunt damage maybe, due to those two. Stun chance per blunt tag. I think I'm tanky enough it's not really super necessary. I think I'm down to make another of these shields now just to become completely immortal though. We'll actually have to remove one of the weapons eventually for that. Three cooldown versus 2. 6 penetrating. I think the axe is a bit better. Can we fit anything else in there? Probably gonna be kind of awkward. I think I'm fine. We can put that thing over there. Actually, I might be able to put stuff over there still. All blunt-based weapons. Oh man, blunt would have been sick here. Base damage is added per blunt tag. I haven't really seen any crazy blunt weapons in the shop though. We had to do a lot to get the epic thing there. That can't even combine with anything. I think we're basically done with gold, so I'm gonna just grab that just in case I see anything cool for it. Lightning melee. I don't feel like that's really worth a lot. Or those just in case we need to craft anything. I mean, if we find a good blunt weapon, those will be insane. I guess we can grab that as well, just in case. I can actually have that on the swords. Now we have 38 armor, 43% reduction, 55% slashing damage on them. I'm extremely slow, but the dash heal will do a lot of work. I don't even know if I can catch that thing. Okay, he got wrecked. Magical arrow quiver. Ranged items, 1 pin and proj. Quite good, doesn't work for the builds. Another plate armor. Might actually be better than the boots. That's 38% and we lose speeds. Yeah, I guess those don't really fit even though we're fully built for them. That's kind of weird. The armor's just way better. Inferno blades. 25% of the original damage enemies hit are inflicted with burn per 6 seconds. Don't think that really works for me. Never seen it before though. Two projectiles is pretty nuts for a 2-slotter. Another armor. So it looks like that does fully scale with the slashing damage. It's at 531%. Which is slightly less than that? Slightly more than that? So I guess it fully works with both energy and slashing then. I'm back to my normal speed. Oh, I guess you would have to combine the club into something for a good blunt weapon. Half off Void Book. Piercing based ranged. could replace the ring. I guess the 25% damage isn't bad though. I think we're fine. Another shield would have been kind of funny though, just to be absurdly tanky and slow at the same time. When you get hit, your armor increases. Oh, it has a pretty long cooldown. Health is below 50%. Health potion collected. I guess that's probably the most useful here. We at least get some damage off of that. So now I think we go directly to the boss right after this. Piercing base range. We could grab another shield if there's a way to fit that in easily. I guess we don't need that. Oh yeah, we'll have to give up a weapon. I guess that has to go. 52 armor, 50% reduction. Speed, 68%. Six lightning tags. Book of Lunar Gravity, void damage. Enemies are afflicted by stun for 1 second. Oh, epic armor. Oh, it's energy-based melee weapons. No, it's terrible for me. Why? That's energy ranged. So it doesn't even do anything. We finally found some high rarity stuff, and it's all junk for me. I guess that technically works on the daggers? Ooh, that's pretty good. I mean, the main weapon is the quad sword, so it doesn't really make sense to go for that, but that's for +1 dash. And weapon range on top of that, I think that's pretty good. If we can fit it in somehow. Trying to think if there's a way to do this area a bit better. I don't think so. So we would have to replace an armor, which kind of sucks. Maybe there's something we can do with those? That's actually pretty good still. can swap those around a bit. And then these can go anywhere there's space. Actually, those are completely useless now for the final boss. Another Book of Lunar Gravity should have been a void run, I guess. And then the +1 dash will be pretty good with those two. Alright, time to go face tank everything because I'm too slow to dodge now. On my first run, I actually just one-shot this guy with all of my projectiles shotgunning him, so I don't really even know what he does. I hope that trail doesn't last permanently, but he's not too tanky at least. Oh yeah, I guess the difficulty modifier at the start of the run gave him a ton of HP as well, now that I think about it. I guess the daggers are actually way better when you consider how much room they take up compared to that. And we had more modifiers on the sword as well. So that really doesn't seem worth it for an epic thing that you have to combine a ton of different items. And it's super awkward to fit into the bag as well. So yeah, just go for the magical daggers, I guess. Max level for demo, rip. So I guess you can't even get any more talent points here then. Oh, 15. So it looks like you can probably get 2, maybe 3 keystones. But nothing too crazy. Per element tag. That would have been kind of nuts there. 6 armor, 50 health per body armor. 100 health, 10 armor. Life Train, health is Life Train, minus 50 armor. Spiked for 10 armor, that would have been decent as well, I suppose. Reduce max health to 1, but increase all damage done by 300%. Interesting. 30 enemy counts. Weapon capacity is maximized, but you can no longer fire more than 1 projectile. Some pretty cool stuff, actually. Not too bad for an early first draft. Armor is increased by your dodge. That could have been pretty good. Crit chance, crit multi, damage cooldown. 100% stun chance for blunt weapons. 10% experience for going all the way over there? Doesn't really seem that good. 25% slashing, infinite penetration. Pure Holy. Yeah, pretty interesting so far for just a demo. Are there higher difficulties you can do still in it? That doesn't actually seem that much harder now. Oh, you start with a big bag over there, interesting. And I guess we can actually buy a little bits of the meta progression as well with the Titan Stones. 50 for more bag space. Extra shop offers, not bad. But yeah, the Mage and the Necromancer unfortunately aren't in yet, but sounds cool once we get those. Shop Banishment is decent. Oh, Relic reroll. But that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.